Mate, it's that time of year. Sun's out, birds are chirping. It's the first Tuesday of November. It's the time of year where people who have one better year, they just load up on the Melbourne Cup. And what an edition it is.
Yeah, it is a great edition, actually. I'm really looking forward to it. And the race that stops the nation, mate. It's going to be very strange this year with no crowds.
I'm speechless. So, yeah. So it stopped me right in my tracks. But hopefully we can dissect the race a little bit, see if we can find the winner. I think I've got about 10 chances in the race.
Yeah, I think I've narrowed it down to maybe knock out about 4 or 5 horses.
Yeah. There's
definitely a few chances, which is always a good thing about the Melbourne Cup. If you manage to jag a winner, if you manage to jag an exotic, you tend to make a bit of coin. So
yes. So for this episode, punters, we're going to do a runner-by-runner preview of the race. But before we do that, let's have a look at the history of the race. So 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds have had the best record in the race. They've had 90 winners, so that's going at just over 50%. Barrier 5 has had the most wins with 8. The Chosen One has drawn that this year. And Barrier 18 has had no winners, which is quite remarkable.
Yeah, that is really, really remarkable.
Yeah, King of Lear Grants has no chance now because of that. And the last mare to finish in the top 5 in the race was Mackay Diva in 2005 when she carried 58 kilos after saluting in the Cox Plate. What a mighty mare she was.
Wasn't she? She was something special.
She was. So previous winners, mate, Farlap, no doubt. Mackay Diva, as referenced 3 times. Cross counter recently for the Northern Hemisphere 3-year-olds with Rekindling. And then last year, Vow and Declare, who faces a much tougher task this year.
Agreed.
So, number 1, mate, the top 8 is Anthony Van Dyke, the Epsom Derby winner. Hugh Bowman on the back. He's drawn perfectly here. He's probably, for mine, he's the biggest winner out of the barrier draw because he got back in the Caulfield Cup last time, but he should be able to lob on speed here from barrier 3. But how did you rate his chances in this?
Yeah, I rate them really highly. Look, he's got class about him. He's proven overseas in the big races that he's right up there with them. From his one Australian run that we saw, he was huge in the Caulfield Cup. Didn't have a lot of luck early. Was given a great ride by Bowman, who has him again here. And look, if he draws a better barrier or sits slightly further up in the field, I think he wins that race. So the extra weight compared to the rest of the field obviously is a bit of a detractor. But if there was any horse who's going to win with that weight, I think it's him. I think he's a real chance. He's
been weighted accordingly.
I think so, yeah.
Interestingly, from the barrier draw, he's actually drifted 1.5 points. So he opened at $7. He's out to $8.50. $9 I'm seeing on my screen at the moment. So that's interesting for mine. Dry track, massive tick for him. But the last horse to carry 58.5 kilos and win the Melbourne Cup was Think Big for Bart Cummings in 1975. So he has to defy history a bit, and 3,200 is a query for him. But I think he's definitely a winning chance for mine.
Agreed, mate.
Number 2 is Avilius, barrier 10. Johnny Allen on board, 57 kilos. I think he has missed his chance in the race. I think he would have gone close a couple of years ago on a soft track, but he got severely checked in the race, so I think he's past it.
Yeah, he hasn't shown anything to me this prep that makes me think he's back to his best. Agreed, I think his best is behind him.
Yeah, his run in the Caulfield Cup was actually pretty good, and it surprised me, to be fair. But, again, that was on a soft track. I think he's a genuine wet tracker now, and 3,200 will see him struggle at the distance for mine.
Number
3 is Vow and Declare with Jamie Mott in the saddle. For Danny O'Brien, you hate to underestimate the stable, but surely you can just put a line through him.
They were walking last year in the race, which suited him to a T. I doubt that happens this year.
No.
And I don't think the weight does him any favours this year. He comes with an extra, 3 or 4 kegs?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'd be absolutely shocked if he wins, but stranger things have happened in the Cup, but yeah, no from me.
I think the Blinkers' first time is a telling gear change, but I'm very sceptical whenever I see a gear change like that for the first time at their 20th start. Why haven't they used it before?
It reeks a little bit of desperation.
They're reaching. So I wouldn't be surprised if that sharpened him up. He found a forward position because he's been going way back in his last few runs. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him up on pace, but he could be a pacemaker for, say, Russian Camelot and others. Number 4, Master Reality, mate. So this is the first of the unexposed to a degree for this season of the internationals. So he ran 4th in the Cup last year after being second across the line.
He was the villain last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
More so Frankie Dettori was, I think.
To be fair, Lloyd Williams came out and he said that was his fault. It wasn't Frankie's fault because he said to take him out to the middle of the field and let him in free range, but he actually came off the fence, and if he took that run on the fence, he probably Vow and Declare probably doesn't get a run, and he wouldn't have laid in as much. So
yeah, I think as well he was starting to lose his legs from underneath him.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. So how did you assess his chances,
mate? Well, look, based on his performance last year, he's got it. You've got to consider him again. He comes back with half a kilo more this year. Draws well again. Look, I can't knock him in this. I think he's definitely a top 6 chance. Look, I'm not going with him, and I'm not going with him in my trifecta, but wouldn't be surprised to see him run a good race.
Yeah, he's won up to 2,800, and he actually over 4,000 metres in the Gold Cup last year. He ran within a length of Stradivarius, which I think the top weight, Tony Van Dyke, he actually beat Stradivarius, but that was over 2,000 metres. 4,000 metres within a length, that's elite staying form. So I think the distance is definitely not a worry. The big query for mine is the synthetic hoof filler for the first time. I think that is a big gear change there. So I'm not necessarily convinced by that.
And we're thinking Flemington's going to be quite tough underfoot as well, so that doesn't help.
Yeah. So I think this will definitely be some of the hardest tracks that these international runners have ever seen. I think by race 7 on the card, 29 degrees, windy, it should be a good 3 by that time. Because we saw on Derby Day on Saturday, it was windy, but it was actually quite a mild day down there. Like I saw Hutchie on the Sunday. He was from racing.com. He was saying that he was freezing at the track, so it was actually quite cold.
Right, okay.
But the track still got upgraded throughout the day. So I have no doubt in my mind that it will be a track upgrade before the race. So query for him, but yeah, I think he is one of the chances in the race. Number 5, Sir Dragonet, the Cox Plate winner. What are your thoughts on this runner, mate?
Oh, look, I think cracking race in the Cox Plate. I think you called it well with Grand Slam being its pacemaker, and it just ran the run to a T, ran it perfectly. Look, there's a few queries. The good 3, as you were just talking about, I think it's a bit of a query for Sir Dragonet. I think jumping from the Cox Plate distance up to the double mile is a query as well for Sir Dragonet. Can't knock it though with that weight. Can't knock it with Bossy on the back. The Mara Eustace stable over the long distances, cracking form. So I can't knock it. I think it'll be right up there. But again, I'm not going with it in my trifecta.
Yeah, for mine, he looks one of the biggest unders in this race by a country mile. I think he should at least be double his price because of the given conditions and the stake of the race being 3,200. I think that's a genuine query, even though when Bossy and Kieran Maher saw the horse after the race, they said he wouldn't blow a candle out. He was just that clear-winded after the Cox Plate. So they think he'll get the distance because of that, but I'm not convinced. So,
do you reckon Bossy was on a high after winning the Cox Plate?
Oh, he might have. Might have been. So happy to take him on. He's not featuring in my numbers either. Twilight Payment, number 6. So the other O'Brien runner in the race. This guy should be leading for mine. What are your thoughts on this fella?
Yeah, look, I think it should be leading, and I think it should be given every chance from there. I don't think his form's as good as some of the other internationals, and he's a bit of an older horse as well, 8 years old. So, look, he's been running top 3 his last few starts, and I think some of those distances were up to the sort of 25 and 2800 from memory. So,
yep.
Oh, look, I wouldn't be surprised, and at $26, it's fair shout to have an each way, but no thanks.
Yeah, I'd rather take Master of Reality over
Agreed.
this runner. So even though his last few runs, he's actually beaten Master of Reality home by some margin. So I think one's by eight lengths and the other has been by, I think, 7. You put a line through those runs for Master of Reality because he was ridden back. He does his best racing when he's on the speed, which he will do with Twilight Payment. The other big thing for mine is the jockey booking for these two. You have Jai McNeil. No knocks on him, but he's not Benny Mellum.
He's not Benny Mellum, mate.
Benny Mellum was on Armory and he was on Buckhurst, who was their big chances in both, outside of Anthony Van Dyke for the Caulfield Cup, and yeah, he was on the top seed with Armory for the O'Brien stable.
Yeah.
So
can't begrudge his ticket in this race at all. No. But I think there's other internationals I'd rather be on.
100%. Alrighty, number 7, VE, Very Elegant.
Isn't she a gorgeous girl?
She is, mate. She is. She's just honest.
Yeah. Look, she's starting to build a pretty incredible record.
6 Group 1 wins, doing it all across.
Few seconds in Group 1s,
yeah.
Some cracking races.
So let's have a look here. She's had 14 starts, 6 wins, 3 runner-ups. That's pretty damn good. That's a great CV. 2 Group 2s, 1 Group 3. Yeah, she's just a bonny mare, mate.
She is. She'd have to be some sort of mare to win this. She really would. If she wins this, we're starting to talk about a horse that's a horse that I always thought was a genuine 2,000 metre, 2,400 metre horse at a stretch. We're starting to talk about a bloody stayer. And there's nothing that you can knock with her this prep at all. Nothing you can knock, but she would have to be some special mare to win this with that weight on her back.
Yep.
Which, to be honest, that's what we said in the Caulfield Cup, which she won. And I think she's starting to prove that she's got a decent record on a good track. So I don't think the rock hard track is going to be that much of a query. She was even chewing her head off a bit in the Caulfield Cup at stages.
That's what she does.
Yeah.
She's a bit of a nut job, to be honest. But I think she's one of the other big winners out of the barrier draw. If she
Huge.
drew inside 6, I think you'd almost put a line through her chances, to be honest. She needs to be out in clear room. She's out of a sire called Zed, where a lot of his pedigree just stay all day, so I don't think the distance will be a query. The query is that rock hard track that they'll be running on, but she kind of put that to bed in the Turnbull. So I'm happy to be have her on side. I definitely think she's a winning chance on the weekend.
I think
tomorrow.
so too. Yeah, I think so too. To be honest, the $13 I think is a little bit unders for her. But if you're playing in the exotics punters, I think she's definitely worth putting in 100%.
Yeah, I think she would. I think the money will come for her, to be honest. I think there's a few horses in this field which we can touch on. I think the money will come for Anthony Van Dyke, in my opinion. Very Elegant, Surprise Baby, and the Northern Hemisphere 3-year-old Tiger Moth. I think they're the ones that the punters will come for. It's hard. The Caulfield Cup winner usually gets whacked on the day.
Yeah. Look, she'd be, like I said, she'd be somewhere to win this. And if she does, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
Nice one. Number 8, Mustajir. So he came here last year with a pretty big spruik on him. We probably haven't seen the best of him in Australia, and he looks like a wet tracker. But to be honest, I've seen worse 100-to-1 shots.
Yeah. I'm not looking at him. I'm looking elsewhere. You can't back him with that prep. But yeah, like you said, if you're the type of punter the type of person who only has 1 or 2 digs a year, and you want to look at a roughie, there's definitely worse things you could have a look at.
$5 each way at that price. Why not?
Why not? Another roughie in this race, which I think, I'm hoping you can run into the top 3, is Stratum Albion for Willie Mullins. You have to have respect for the stable. He brought over Max Dynamite. I think he ran 2 races in a year, both Melbourne Cups back to back, so he can just get them red hot, really fit. He's a dour stayer. There's no doubt about that. He actually goes over the jumps back home, so he's a hurdler, and he does go on the flats as well. But yeah, the good track won't be an issue for mine. But the big thing is he won't know himself at this weight. 55 kilos, mate. He's been carrying 70 kilos plus on the jumps, so he's just going to be running around like there's nothing on the back. So I think you do have to respect the stable. I think he is a rough hoe, but one that I'm chucking into my exotics.
Makes his own luck. He'll lead. But yeah, I didn't realise that you could get up to 70 kegs on the jumps. Jeez.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, so that's not unusual for jumps racing, but I think let's put it this way: Willie Mullins is not bringing this runner just to have a holiday. I think you have to respect it. He's got a 20% winning strike rate, places 55%. This is different gravy, but have to respect. Number 10, Dashing Willoughby. So ran last in the Caulfield Cup. Very disappointing. And Michael Walker would be nearly having a stroke after jumping off Prince of Arran. So
yeah, I would be too.
Far out. He's made a big call there. But one of his last 2-mile runs, he beat Cross Counter by 12 lengths. So he is a genuine 2-miler, this horse. And I think he's probably the biggest overs in the race for mine. I'm willing to forgive that first up run at Caulfield, but I did not find him in my numbers, but I could definitely see him jumping out of the ground. Barrier's really sticky for him. I think he'll sit in the first half of the field, but he's not absolutely hopeless for mine.
Yeah, he's still being vetted after that last place in the Caulfield Cup. Look, what that means, we're not really sure yet until the actual race goes around. It could be a late scratching, but I think trainer said he was all good. What was the trainer's name again? Andrew Balding.
Yeah.
Said he should be fine. So, willing to forgive. He's not in my numbers, but again, I've definitely seen worse 100-to-1 shots.
Yeah, so that opens up a discussion for the Melbourne Cup. In my opinion, there should be emergencies for this race because Dashing Willoughby, Ocean X, Warning, they're the 3 that are still they're still not 100% of running. So whereas you could have a Nickajack Cave for Peter Moody gaining a run, which would be he'd be about a 20-to-1 shot in this race, which would amplify it even more. So that's a bit disappointing. But VRC, if you're listening, take it into consideration. Okay. Number 11. Oh my God. This horse just continues to go under his true odds of winning for mine. A Finch for Chris Waller. J-Mac on board. Have you given this runner any hope?
Oh, no. To be completely honest. I think he's a sort of horse who teases that he's going to go on and kick on and do better things. He's only had one win under the traineeship of Chris Waller. I think his chance was probably last year.
Yep.
And he hasn't had a bad prep.
No. He's just too slow.
Yeah, he just doesn't have a turn of foot to chase these down. He draws well, but
He's a submarine on legs.
He's a big boy.
Massive animal, but...
Big boy.
And I think I heard Mick Sharkey give this stat a few weeks ago. His one win in Australia from 10 starts was over 2,000 metres, where he beat Stampede and Karzov. Out of that race, there's been no subsequent winners. And he went around as the favourite in the Melbourne Cup last year.
Yeah, he was about $7 from memory.
I think, the market just loves this horse. I will never back him for mine. So he's actually drawn perfectly. He should be sitting off the speed. And you know what? He's going to look the winner in the 100, in the straight, but there'll be others running past him at the 150. Yeah,
I'm with you there, mate. I don't think he's got it in this race.
I reckon he'll finish top 10, but he won't finish top 4. Prince of Arran, Jamie Carr, Charlie Fellows. Tell you what, mate, I love Charlie Fellows. He's an absolute star on the radio. So he's won every second up start in Australia when he's come over for the last 2 years. And he's had to win his way into the race previously. He doesn't have to do that here. Jamie Carr, who's the best jockey going around at the moment on the back, just does his best work when he flies across the world, this fella. So I think he should sit in the first half of the field from that barrier. Got some eerie similarities between Prince of Penzance and Prince of Arran. For Michelle Payne, female jock, Jamie Carr, female jock, both of them drew barrier 1. Gee, looks a red hot chance.
I've got him a winning chance, mate. I can't knock him. I can't knock his previous runs in Australia. I can't knock his previous Melbourne Cup runs. Can't knock Jamie Carr in the back. Can't knock the barrier. So there's not a lot of reasons why you wouldn't have him as a winning chance. Look, he's a bit of an older horse. Does he have the firepower? Don't know. I reckon from his Caulfield Cup run, he came storming home. The extra distance wouldn't be a worry at all. So, I think he's a winning chance. Has to go on exotics.
He's the best he's ever been. So, Michael Walker said that when he was galloping Dashing Willoughby at Werribee when they first came over, and then the manager at the Werribee Centre itself said he's the best he's ever looked, and he's seen him for the last 2 years. So he's riding the mix for mine. Okay, let's take a quick break, and then we'll get into the second half of the field. Okay, mate, this is one of the best stories in the Cup. The main chance, the main hero from Horsham. Number 13, Surprise Baby for Paul Prushka. Craig Williams on the back. He's probably the biggest winner out of the barrier draw, along with Anthony Van Dyke for mine. Barrier 7, looks to get a nice run.
Yeah, he certainly will. This has been the target race since last year.
Yep.
Had a great prep. I think the prep's gone according to plan. That run in the... was it the Turnbull?
Yes.
Yeah. Look, it finished 9th, but it wasn't too far away from them at all, and 2,000 metres is not Surprise Baby's go at all. No. I think it's specifically trained for the longer distances. I think, was it Brad? It was either you or Brad who was saying Paul Pruska, the trainer, trains in a similar vein to the Northern Hemisphere stayers. I think it's definitely a winning chance.
Yep.
Certainly. Draws perfectly. Craig Williams back-to-back. He didn't win it until last year for the first time. So when it rains, it pours, mate. Who knows? I think it's a winning chance.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely a winning chance for mine. Thought Turnbull run didn't have a massive flashing light for mine. But that just wasn't his race. Paul Prushka said if he could, he would have taken him first up into the Melbourne Cup. So I think that gives you a fair idea of what they were planning here. So I think he'll be well into the mix. He will get the distance, no dramas at all. Alrighty, number 14, King of Lear Grants. So this fella, what did he win early this year? The Adelaide Cup over 2 mile, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and he won that pretty impressively, and from there, I think he was looking like one of the main domestic hopes. But he's kind of just been a little bit below expectations, I think, since then.
He has. He could bounce back here. His third up form reads well. Good track is not an issue at all. Draws a little bit sticky. Look, I'm looking elsewhere, but wouldn't surprise to see him run a decent race and bounce back. But no thanks.
Yeah, not for mine. All right, number 15, Russian Camelot. So I've heard every expert in the industry compare this guy to Fioronte, who ran behind Seamus Award in the Cox Plate. And he just came out and brained him in the Melbourne Cup. Did see Lloyd Williams today say that the Camelots don't run 2 miles, so I found that interesting. And the rock hard good tracks, not sure if that's his go, but to be fair, he's won 1 on good tracks and placed the other 3 times, so can't really knock that form. He's obviously one of the big X factors in this race. Danny O'Brien said on radio today that he would be, they're 100% going to be ridden quiet, so that will suit the horse. I think he's a bit more dynamic that way, but does he run out the 2 miles? Not sure.
Bit of a query, but based on his win down in Adelaide, which sort of put his name on the map. If he's ridden quietly and if the tempo suits, I don't see why he can't run out the 2 miles. I think another query for RC is the fact that there's 24 horses, or probably 24 horses running. I don't think he likes that very much. He doesn't like going into the barriers. Imagine a full barrier, 24 horses ready to go.
Well, he still has a quarter of the field, a third of the field to go in after him. So that will be interesting to see, because he might get really worked up in those gates. So imagine if he drew down the bottom.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But just on talent alone, you've got to have him as a winning chance. And yeah, his profile reads really well for this race. Look, maybe the 2,000 metres in the Cox Plate just isn't his go. Maybe he is a 24, 25 plus horse. I think we'll get a really good gauge on just how good he can be this year. He's a winning chance for me. He's a top 3.
Yep. I'm willing to risk him tomorrow. You have to have an opinion against some of these runners, which are, look, they're quality animals, but unfortunately you just have to risk it against some of them. And there's 3 in the market that have to risk that. Yeah, probably second guess on the day. Number 16, Steel Prince. This guy's flying. He looks one of the better hopes for the domestics for mine. Last year, he beat Home Surprise Baby on equal terms twice. So, and when he was not travelling that well into the Melbourne Cup, he still ran top 10. So he's travelling way better this prep. He is actually flying. So I've got him in my numbers. Actually, I think he'll run a massive race.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Can't knock that. I thought he'd run a good race as well. I think Pikey on the back will ride him to a peach. The barrier, I don't think is a massive issue for Steel Prince. From memory, he tends to get back a bit, doesn't he?
He's versatile.
Yeah.
Pikey can just see where things are. They have 1,200 metres to figure it out. So, he'll lob in somewhere, hopefully 3 wide cover, midfield. That'll do. I'll take that.
Yeah, no, can't knock you on that, mate. He's not in my numbers, but can't argue with his form.
No query at the distance for mine. I think he'll run out strong. Number 17, The Chosen One, ran a great race in the Caulfield Cup. He's only really had the one really disappointing run this prep, which was, I think it might have been the Underwood, where he was very flat. But last up in the Caulfield Cup, he ran super. I think being on top of the ground suits this horse too, and he's drawn perfectly in Barrier 5. I just don't think he has the class, and he won't run out the 2 mile.
With you, mate.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said.
18, Ash Run, the Hotham winner. So, this runner drops 8 kilos from the Hotham, which is a big tick.
That's a huge tick.
But my question to you, DJ, Is will a horse that only nosed out sound win the Melbourne Cup?
No.
I don't think so either.
No. I think, dropping massively in weight will have the punters. I think some punters will come for it. I think they'll be looking at that race and look at the drop in weight. But I said to you during the week last week before that race, I was like, I've got no confidence in this whatsoever. Good, full credit to it for winning. It's had a good prep, but no, I think it's a bit of hype, and I think it's unders.
I think typically the Hotham winners, the punters usually come for, and the market respects on the day. So I wouldn't be surprised if he started $15, $16. But for mine, the connections were desperate to get this horse first up into a Melbourne Cup, because you look at his profile. I think the shortest distance between races was about 3 weeks. This will be his third run in 2 weeks. I think that's going to be too much for the horse.
It's a big ask.
It is. For a relatively lightly raced and having spaced runs, I think he might feel the run, especially when you draw. I think tables are turned if he draws a barrier. If he draws barrier 5, gets the run of the race, he's in the mix. But 24, crikey, that makes things hard.
Yeah.
Warning for mine, 51s looks unders. If you can't win a race between now and the Victoria Derby, I don't think you've got much hope in a Melbourne Cup. I think he is an out-and-out stayer. I think that's a tick. But I also think that the stable said that he's suited with a bit of cutout, so which proved on Derby Day last year on soft 7.
Yeah, agreed, man. I think he's a little bit out of his depth here on a rock hard track.
Yep. Eda James for Kieran Dave Eustace, the Group 1 winner for the Sydney Cup, which is the only other Group 1 over 3,200 on the Australian calendar. It's definitely not Melbourne Cup standard, but you still have to respect that. I cannot feature her into my numbers, especially from the wide barrier.
No, thanks. I don't think it's up to this. 8-year-old mare, competing against some of these international horses, and the best local horses we have to offer. No thanks.
Absolutely. Okay. Number 1, mate, Tiger Moth. So, I know you have a liking for the Northern Hemisphere 3-year-olds. So, what are your thoughts about this boy?
Well, he's as good as any, if you're looking at that profile. Similar profile to Il Paradiso, Rekindling, and one other horse, which... Cross Counter, of course. Second in the Irish Derby, that's huge. And then brained them in a Group 3 a few weeks later. So it comes over here with a really nice profile. And what I like about the 3-year-olds from Northern Hemisphere is that they're bred stayers. They're lightly raced for this, and therefore, for the most part, they're going to be light in the weights. So I don't know if I've mentioned it on the pod before, but I was on Tiger Moth from a while back. But you could get as much as $50 for it.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So when I saw the barrier draws, I was not a happy man. But look, McAvoy on the back. He's a versatile horse by all accounts from the O'Brien stable. He can be ridden forward. He can be ridden quietly and storm home. If he drew a better barrier, I think he'd be pumped in. But he's drifted a little bit. I think the money will still probably come for him on the day, because that form is consistent. If you're looking at previous Melbourne Cups, so people who don't punt often will be reading comments like that and then reading history of Melbourne Cup and trying to find where they should punt. So I think he'll come in from the 8s. I can't jump off him. I've still got to have him on top. I'd be silly to jump off him just because of the barrier. But I think McAvoy has to assess things in the first few hundred metres and determine how it's going to be ridden. It'd be a mighty effort to win from that barrier, but I think you should be able to come storming home. Yeah,
I heard something today. So McAvoy's won the Melbourne Cup 3 times. I think he's drawn 19 or higher on all three. So
That's a nice stat for me to hear.
yeah. So I wouldn't worry about it, mate. I would not be surprised if he's setting in the last few though. But I wouldn't worry about it with all that speed in the race. I think there's a lot of speed in this year's edition. But even if there's not, we saw Il Paradiso hug the rail on a race with no speed. He was lengths off him. That you can still make up ground if you're back in the field. So I wouldn't worry about it because half this field won't run out the distance.
Oh, 100%. And on Tiger Moth as well, I don't think the good track will be an issue. And I don't think the distance will be an issue because this would have been a target for the stable all along. So
what I did hear about that, which I found very interesting, that his half-brother in the stable was winning group and listed races over 6 furlongs. So out of the same sire, I think. I might have got that wrong, but it's definitely a half-brother. So his breeding, he has to defy his breeding a little bit to run out the 2 mile, but he's got that profile. The thing that I'm a little bit suspect about him is that he's the lightest race 4-year-old to come over for basically since rekindling. So Cross Counter was at his 8th run in his 3rd preparation. Rekindling was at its 10th start, 3rd prep, and Il Paradiso was at its 9th start. He's basically given those 4 runs of experience, so he might be a bit green. For that reason, I'm not putting him into my calculations. I've got a little bit of a young Werther thought about him, where he might just be a bit too green this year time round. But look, mate, if he wins, I won't be shocked. But I have to put a line through some, and he's one that I'm putting through.
You have to, and that's the toughest part is because there's always 3 or 4 things that you really like, and you tend to probably have an each way on each of them because they're the prices too. But if you got to single out one for the potty and for the Group 1s, don't you?
You do. Righty, number 22, Ocean X for Mick Price, Dean Yendall, light in the weights, but Equicast first time, which is something that goes on your foot if you're a horse. And yeah, she was actually tracking really nicely into her preparation, which is really disappointing for their connections. I thought she was definitely a top 10 hope, but with that setback, I can't be going anywhere near her.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I backed her last start. I didn't think she would win, but I thought at that price of about $10, I think she was. She was a great each way shout. But yeah, it's unfortunate to hear post-race that she's not pulled up too well. Not this year.
Alrighty, number 23, Miami Bound. One of the best wet trackers in the field, but it's going to be a good 3, so no thank you. I think despite the lightweight, she's drawn relatively well. Amazing stable with Danny O'Brien, but I can't see her featuring.
Yeah, it was good to see her win last start. Cracking ride by Jamie Carr. But no thanks.
And the bottom weight, number 24, Persan, with Mickey D in the saddle. Won his way into the race, winning the Bart Cummings. This horse actually had a fall on Melbourne Cup Day last year. And 1 year later, exactly, he's in the race. So, quite incredible, to be honest. The turnaround for this horse. So, I think he's done incredibly well to get into the race. Look, I think he could run into the top 10, but he's nowhere near my numbers.
No, he's been up for a really long time as well.
Yeah.
I don't have him, but it'd be a nice story.
It really would. Okay, mate. That's all the runners. So, tell me and tell the punters. Tell me your top 4 in the race, but I want you to start with 4th place, 3rd place, 2nd first.
Okay. Look, that's really tough to narrow down to 4. Running in 4th, I've got to have Prince of Iran.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to run a cracking race. And like you said, and what you've sort of hearing around the traps, especially from Michael Walker, he's in great nick. So I think he'll run a good race. And I'm just going to say unlucky to Surprise Baby, because I think Surprise Baby's going to run a good race too. But in third place, I've got RC. I think he's going to run a cracking race. Would love to see him win. I think Tony Van Dyke is an awesome shout. I really do. I don't think the weight's too much of an issue. He showed, that race in the Caulfield Cup. Wouldn't be surprised. And then Tiger Moth on top for mine. But also just want to say, if Very Elegant wins, I'll also be a very happy man. Not necessarily because I'll have a pun on it, but it'd just be awesome to see another mare start to reach the upper echelon of staying races in Australia. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, can't argue with that, mate. For mine, punters, have $1 on this because this could pay anything. In fourth, I've got Stratum Albion for Willie Mullins. He's not bringing this horse over for fun. At 50-1, I think he can run into the money.
Jeez, that'd be nice.
I've got Steel Prince running third. I think I've been a big fan of his preparation. He put a couple of lengths on Ash Run, and he came out and won quite nicely on the weekend. So I think he's over the odds at 40-1. I've got Very Elegant running second. So I can't catch her this preparation. I can't, but I think she's just in that Caulfield Cup. She was just so strong through the line, even though she had a pretty torrid run. I think she'll beat Anthony Van Dyke home for mine. So I'm against Anthony Van Dyke. Also against Tiger Moth, and I think I've forgotten the other one I'm against. I think I said it before. One moment.
Russian?
Yes, Russian Camelot. So against those three for mine. And on top, for Charlie Fellows, I've got Prince of Aaron on top. I think it'll be a fairy tale for him. The $11, look, it's probably unders, to be honest. But I don't really care.
I'd be happy to see it.
Yeah, so I think he's absolutely flying. It's going to be a really popular winner if he wins.
I'd be happy to see it.
It's got not Max Dynamite, but the other one, Red Cadeau, written all over it. He could run second again, like Red Cadeau did, but hopefully he gets the chockies for mine. So my plays in the race, I'm going to have a nice little each way on Prince of Aaron. I'm going to have a little something on Steel Prince as well. But my first fours and trifectas and quinolas that I'm going to lob around are Stratum Albion, Steel Prince, Very Elegant, Prince of Aaron, and I'm chucking Surprise Baby in there as well.
Yeah, I'll be playing a few each ways. All the horses that I really like are at a backable each way price. So that's the top four of Prince of Iran, Russian, Tony, and Tiger. So obviously those four are going to go into my box try. I'm going to chuck in Master of Reality into that box trifecta as well, VE and Surprise Baby. So it'll be quite wide, but because the prices are all pretty decent.
It's Melbourne Cup Day. It's
we'll see how we go.
Un-Australian not to have a trifecta.
Of course. Be interesting to see how the Polo Punt Club quaddie stacks up. I have literally no idea what the other boys are going. So
no, I think I have no idea. I think Anthony Van Dyke will definitely be in there. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what direction they have. They go in. Alrighty, let's take another quick break and then we'll jump into our best value and best bet of the day. So mate, there's still another 9 races on the card, but we're not going to preview all of them. Let's just bring a value bet and a best bet to the punters in our it's like a little mini juicy stakes.
Yeah.
This one.
Little children's juice box. Little apple juice.
Yeah, little popper. Alrighty, so who is your value bet of the day?
If you go to race 9 and if you look at a horse, the number 2, Wild Vixen.
Yep.
So it beat Too Good Too Hard home last start. Too Good Too Hard ran second to Fiesta, who was absolutely flying on the Flemington Straight on the weekend, who you backed, mate. So well done.
Yep.
I think $10 is a great shout. About $3 for the place. Doesn't usually win first up, which tells me that it's come back pretty decent this prep.
Hold on. So you're taking on Liar in this race?
I'm taking on Liar. Who would have thought? There's another horse in this race, which I've given a shout out on the potty before as well, number 12,000 Wishes. So I might have a little sneaky something on that as well, considering it's $34. But no, I think Wild Vixen at $10 is a great shout. I think it's been slightly missed by the market, so we'll see.
Yeah, nice one. I can't believe I was saying this, but in that race, I was either going to have a bet, if I had one at all, on Liar or Music Bay. I think Liar back to Mare's grade. This is the easiest race she's contested in for a while. Flemington might be what she's actually after. So she's been racing at Moonee Valley and Caulfield, so might be what she's after. And Music Bay, I thought she actually went to stud, so I was surprised to see her on the program. But she was an impressive winner last preparation. For me, sticking with some Sydney's form for this. So race 6, number 6, Outrageous. Coming from the $15 that was up this morning is $11 now. Willie Pike in the saddle for the Hawks team. He's well up to this grade. I think he's over the odds. He hasn't won for a while, about a year, but I think back to the big track at Flemington is what he needs. He's more than competitive in this sort of grade, so I think he'll give you a good sight. Okay, mate. Who's your best bet on the card?
Mate, the number 1 in race 1 in Gradiating, did you see its run?
Yeah.
Absolutely brained them. And it's back to the Flemington Straight. So, I think it's pretty safe bet. So I'm going to have that as my as my BB.
Yeah. 2-year-olds, I thought it was mighty hard to beat, but 2-year-olds they're
erratic.
Bit of a risk, but I can understand why he's on top. I did hear that the Marine 1 has been jumping out massively, the second favourite in that race, so I think it could be the only danger in that race. For mine, I'm going for a mare that was scratched from the last of the day on Derby Day, number 6 Exhilarates. At $9, I think she's stupid price. So happy to have a play on her each way. So I think she'll be running into the money. I think the straight will suit. She's drawn out, stalk the speed, similar to Fiesta.
Jeez,
that's what I'm hoping anyway. Alrighty, punters. Well, that's another episode in the books. We're going to finish up the season at the end of this week. So we've got Oaks Day, which we're going to put a podcast out for, and we're also going to do one for the Darley Sprint card this coming Saturday. But yeah, coming to the end of the season, and it's been bloody fun, mate, hasn't it?
It's been awesome. It's gone quick.
It's gone very quick. But we'll have a bit of a spell. We might do some special episodes for the WA Group 1s, and maybe something for the Magic Millions Carnival at the Gold Coast as well. But we'll finish off the season strong. But until next time, we'll see you when we're looking at you.